soon as I pee on the stick, 2 lines pop up. It did not even take like 0.5 seconds because I thought we was gonna fight. She lied dead in our face. She was fake.
Te dejé la llave del hotel, me dijo antes de ser pendeja vuelve a nacer. Ya hay que hacer las cosas bien y no hacerlas por hacer. Todavía no sé si esto es amor.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today, I have a story time for you guys. Honestly, never thought I would be coming on here and telling this story time, but I feel like it's a pretty good story time, and also there's a lot of details, a lot of stuff, you know? This is a pretty important detail of my life, so why not share it with you guys? Oh, also, please ignore my background. There's still like little balloons for my boyfriend's birthday that was like a week ago. Also, just for future reference, please ignore that one of my hands are done and one of my hands aren't done. I did this hand, so yeah. Still haven't learned how to do my right hand. Probably won't learn for a while. So as you guys could probably tell by the title, today I'm going to be telling you guys a story time of how I found out I was 18 and pregnant and how that whole scenario played out. To give you guys some background, I grew up with just one parent, my mom, and she was very, very strict. Very strict. I never got to hang out with friends. I never got to go out anywhere. I literally had to finesse my way around high school so bad. It was to the point where I never really even had a phone until I was a senior. Let me start off by telling you guys how I met my boyfriend. Me and my boyfriend met when we were both 15. We met at school. We have like a free hour throughout the middle of the day. It was called Panther Hour. When we look back on it, we realized that it was Valentine's Day. We were both in 10th grade. This was like about 2 months-ish after me and my previous ex have broken up. Mind you, it's Valentine's Day, fresh out of a breakup. Today is not my day. Me and my friend group were all hanging out. So there was me and my 2 girl best friends, and then there was my 2 boy best friends. I'm gonna call them B and J. We were all just hanging out in the auditorium one day, which is like a common hangout spot for a lot of people at my school. This kid walks up to B and J and is like, yo, like, what are you guys doing here? And it's like he knows them. He sits down with our group and he just starts hanging out there for the rest of the block because there's 2 blocks. They split it up into 30 minutes each. So he just starts hanging out with us for the rest of the block. Now, me, immediately, I thought he was attractive and I tried to flirt with him, but I felt like it didn't work because back when I was younger, my main method of flirting was making very persistent eye contact. But he was not making eye contact with me. Like, no matter how hard I stared this kid down, he was not making eye contact with me. And I was like, hello? Like, look at me. But he never really did. I just thought like, oh, he doesn't notice me, or like he doesn't think I'm cute, because obviously if he did, he would be feeding into my flirting, feel me? I mean, we still talked and we still like got to know him a little bit, like me and my best friends. But besides that, nothing else happened. After that block was over, he left. After that, I never really saw him again. Like, I thought he was cute. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never seen this kid before. Because once you're at your school for so long, you've seen everybody who's cute. Once there's new options, you're like, damn, like who's that? Yeah, I never saw him again after that. I would look for him in the hallways. Never saw him again. That was February 14th, 2020. Probably like exactly a month later is when quarantine hit. After that, I wasn't worried about nobody. I was just worried about keeping in touch with my regular friends. Fast forward to July of 2021. This summer was a crazy summer because this is the summer where I finally had my phone and I finally had social media, even though I wasn't supposed to. Another thing that I had was a roster.
Hell no.
That's so embarrassing to say, but this is like the only real time that I ever really had like a roster. But I was just chilling for real, honestly. Like, I wasn't like dragging on nobody or cheating on nobody, but I was just living my best life. That's important to know because I did have one sneaky link this summer 21. I had him on Snapchat, and during this time I used Snapchat heavily on my current man's birthday. My old sneaky link had posted him. He posted a bunch of videos of him saying happy birthday. And immediately I saw the videos and I was like, I know this kid. Where do I know him from? But I could not put my finger on where I knew him from. It was bothering me so bad. I was like, bro, I know this kid, but no one was tagging him. So I didn't know his name. I didn't know what school he went to. I knew that I had seen this kid before and I was like, I know him. I'm gonna backpedal a little bit. So the high school that me and my man both went to, I'm gonna call that A high school. That school I went to was about 20 minutes away from my house because I attended it for a magnet program. So it was not my home school, but most people that went there, that was their home school. The people who lived in the same city as me went to B high school. That was my home high school. So I knew a lot of people from both A high school and B high school. So I was trying to figure out, does he go to A high or B high? I had to just kind of like let it go because like, what was I gonna do about it? Text my sneaky link and be like, yo, who is this kid? No. I just kept scrolling on Snapchat, just kept minding my business. A mutual person that like we both followed posted him and tagged him. So I added him immediately because I was like, I need to know who this is. I need to know where I've seen him from. He added me back not too long later. And he's like one of those weirdos that like immediately texts you after they add you. And he was like, who is this? What? He sends a picture of him and his friend. And then it finally hits me that he was the kid that I met in the auditorium with B and J. So then I tell him like, oh, I don't know if you remember me, but you met me. I'm a close friend of B and J. And he was like, oh yeah, like I think I do remember meeting you, blah, blah, blah. And from that day on, we never stopped texting. We texted every single day on Snapchat. And then until it like graduated to iMessage. And then we graduated to calling, FaceTiming, all that. Like we were talking until he finally asked me to be his girlfriend on September 11th of that year. So we would sneak to hang out, all that good stuff. Fast forward 6 months, it's March 2022. I don't know if I mentioned this, but that summer 2021, we were going into senior year. So this is senior year, March 2022. We're a couple months away from graduating. My birthday is in February, so I'm already 18 at this point. You know, obviously, since we were together for about 6 months at this point, we were active, if you want to call it that. I had a couple of scares before, but honestly, I didn't take it that seriously because nothing ever happened when it very well could have happened. I tracked my cycle. I had the period app or whatever. I honestly forgot what it's called. Because it wasn't the Flow app, it was a different app. I think it was called the Glow app, something like that. But I had a period app and I did track my cycle. To me, I didn't take it that seriously. I honestly was starting to think that I was infertile because nothing ever happened when I swore I could be, you know. I wasn't really taking it too seriously at that point. It was like in March. One day I started getting acid reflux like every 5 minutes. I kid you not, every 5 minutes there was a little acid reflux coming up my throat. And I thought that that was so weird because I was like, I don't get acid reflux this much ever, like ever. Immediately I knew my body was telling me something. I told my man, I was like, we need to get a test. So that day, literally that day, because it was a school day, during our free block, the free hour in the middle of the day that we have, they drove us both to Target because there was a Target that wasn't too far away from our school, and we picked up a pregnancy test. At this point, I think I actually had not missed my period yet. And that was what was throwing me off. But we got one of those tests that said like you could take it a few days early because I think I still had a couple more days until my period was officially missed according to the app. Obviously, we couldn't take it back to school and take it. And, you know, my mom would never let us hang out together. So, and Matthew wanted to be there when I took the test. He had to be there. After we bought it, we went into the family restroom. Yes, we went to the family restroom together at Target. Made him turn around while I peed on the stick. You know, you have to wait like a couple minutes after you take the test. So after I waited a couple minutes, I let him look at it. I was like, so what does it say? Because it was the one with like 2 lines on it, like either 1 line or 2. 2 if you're pregnant, 1 if you're not. And he was just so confused. And I was like, is there one line or two? I was just like, read the directions. Because he was not understanding until I finally just grabbed it and I looked at it and there was 2 lines. When I tell you, holy hell. I just never, I don't know, it just felt like a fantasy. Like, never thought it could be me. I was in shock, to say the least. We were both pretty shocked for a while. I already knew that like this was my baby and I was gonna keep it. That was never a question. But it was like a scary time because immediately the first thing that I thought of was college, because I worked so hard in high school for college. And mind you, this is March, so I already applied to all the schools that I wanted to go to, and I haven't heard back from all of them yet. And I wanted to go to school in California. I'm from Maryland, so my mom's whole side of her family is from San Diego. So I wanted to go to California to be closer to my family, and I always knew that I wanted to go to California. Everyone in my family knew that I wanted to go to college in California. From there, we both knew that what we wanted to do was keep our child, obviously. We only told about like 2 close friends each, and then 1 sibling. So I told my older sister, and he told one of his older sisters. He has 5 sisters. No one really knew. Like, we kept this under the radar because we only had like 2 months left of school before we were about to graduate. We did not want this to get out, and especially me, with my mom, how strict she was. I did not want her to find out. You couldn't really tell, like, if you've ever been pregnant before, if you know anyone that's been pregnant, you don't really start showing for a long time. I think the main thing with me when I started showing was just that I was bloated. I feel like you could only tell that I was pregnant if you really knew me, because my stomach went from being flat to being a little bloaty. Nevertheless, no one was really suspecting anything. There were a couple of times that I almost did get caught with my mom. Some of Matthew's siblings like found out on their own through other like chismosas who were fake. The first time that I almost got caught with my mom was closer to the end of April, I think. I had already like way in advance scheduled my wisdom tooth extraction because I had 4 wisdom teeth. My mom was so adamant about getting them removed before I went to college. The surgery was scheduled for May. But then I realized when I was reading through the pamphlet that, like, oh wait, there's anesthesia, you know? So I Googled, like, is anesthesia okay for pregnancy? Google was like, hell no. Like, you cannot go in there. Like, you have to get, like, a local anesthesia if you're gonna get any. Or, like, you know, there's, like, special protocol for pregnant people. I got scared, and immediately I called them because I'm 18, so at the time I have to make my own doctor's appointments. My mom can't make them for me. So I call them, and I'm like, this is my situation. I'm pregnant. What do I do? That's where I screwed up. Because then they tell me, we're not going to touch you until we get a referral from your OB. I didn't have an OB. I couldn't even go hang out with my friends. Do you think my mom wouldn't notice if I was at a freaking OB appointment? She definitely would. I started freaking out, and then they canceled my appointment. And I asked them, like, can you please just keep the appointment? No. Can you make an appointment further down the line and then I will come back and cancel it? No. They would not do nothing until I had that referral from an OB. Panic set to my heart because my mom is going to be wondering how the hell my appointment just got canceled out the random blue, and I didn't have anything to tell her. That phone call was made at school, by the way, during my free block. I took that call outside in the parking lot. So then I go home that day and I tell her, you know, oh, like, they called me and they told me that they had to cancel my appointment. And she was like, that's weird. Like, they just canceled it on you? And I was just like, yeah, I don't know. They said that they didn't have any more appointments until like July. You know, I was just thinking about it is giving me anxiety. Then she tells me, we're gonna call them and we're gonna figure this out. So I tried to stall that as much as I could, and I think I stalled it for like a little less than a week until she was like, okay, Savannah, get your butt upstairs. She wanted to sit next to me while I called them, and I was like, oh my god. So when I call the people, they're like, hello, and I'm like, Hi, this is Savannah with my mom right next to me on speaker. I know my mom had to be so sus of that, but I had to say it because I knew that if I was just talking to the reception lady and she didn't know that there was someone next to me, that she could bring up that I was pregnant because, you know, they agreed not to say anything because of doctor-patient confidentiality, whatever. You know, they agreed not to say anything. My mom was over here going off on these people, like wondering why can't I make an appointment? Why? She's getting rude. Knowing my mom, you know, she'll go off on people for anything. She's getting a little rude and I'm getting so nervous. Like I'm literally shaking on the phone with these people because I'm like, I just easily say, your daughter's pregnant. My whole cover would be blown. I still had to live in my mom's house for like months. That whole situation, like, it just happens and my mom gets like really pissed off. She's like, this doctor is not good, blah blah blah, you know, like she's like going on off on a whole rant. I don't even remember how the phone call ended, but I remember I was shaking. I don't remember how she just like forgot, you know, that I was supposed to like call them and reschedule. She just like forgot. Okay, so I got away with it for like a couple of months. That kind of calmed my nerves, but then it got to be May, decision day. I still wanted to go to college. I knew that I was going to college. I did not work this hard my entire high school career just to not go to college. But now, since I was having a baby, I had to think smarter. I had to go to a cheap school and I had to go in state now. I've always hated Maryland my whole life, so I only applied to one in-state school. It was my safety school. When I told my mom that I was going to my safety school, she literally lost it. She was like, you wanted to go to school in California your whole life. You just wasted all your time doing all these hard classes in high school just to go to this school. Basically telling me that I wasted my time. All my hard work was for nothing. That's all that. And I just had to take it. I just had to sit there and take it. And she thought that I was going to this school because my best friend was also going to the school. I just kind of had to take what she had to say and just tell her, well, this is where I'm going. Like, you can't control where I go. That was a whole situation in itself. She didn't want me to dorm with my best friend because she was like, you are only going here because of her. Like, you shouldn't choose where you want to go to school because of another person. Like, dog, you really think I'm gonna choose to go to school because of another person? Like, I love my best friend with all my heart, but she could not keep me from California. The only thing that was keeping me from California was the fact that there would be no family here. No family, well, there would be family there, but like none of my boyfriend's family would be there. My boyfriend wouldn't even be there. Like, he didn't know what he was gonna do at this time. And then it's expensive as hell there. I just knew it wasn't a smart decision to go. She was really like starting to get on my case when I decided to pick a Maryland school instead of going to California like I always knew I was going to. After that, we started having like a shakier relationship. Like, I mean, our relationship was already not amazing, but our relationship was extra shaky to the point where like we didn't really talk anymore. Like, she was just there and I was just there. We just passed each other. We're getting towards the end of our high school careers. Me and my man went to prom together. This is where his sisters found out that I was pregnant. Me and my man went to prom with my man's friends. One of my man's friends had a girlfriend. At the time, like the two friends that we went to prom with, they knew that I was pregnant. But apparently the one friend who had a girlfriend had told his girlfriend as well. To me, I kind of was uncomfortable with that because I was like, I don't know her. Like, I'd never met her before that day. I'd heard of her, but I've never met her before that day. So to me, I was kind of uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was like, you know, as long as she keeps her mouth shut, whatever. Because she didn't even go to our school either. So I was like, no one even knows her anyway. Who is she gonna tell? LOL. Never underestimate people because they'll find someone to tell. We are at the prom little after party that they have for kids to like keep them out of trouble. At the bowling alley, the older sister that knows that I'm pregnant, that Matthew told, she calls us and says like his younger sister, because he only has one younger sister. She's a freshman at our school. at the time. She called all of his sisters and told them, did you know that Matthew's girlfriend is pregnant? And she was like, how the freak did she find out? That's what I was trying to figure out. I knew it wasn't nobody that I told because we don't have no friends. Who are we going to tell? We have been a close circle since we were freshmen. That really threw me because I was like, it's one of Matthew's friends. Why would boys want to be so chismoso? Like, and immediately we were sitting at the same table as my man's friend and his girlfriend when we found out. And we were like, did you tell anybody? And she's like, no, oh my gosh, like I would never tell anybody. Like, you know damn well. She know damn well. At that time, I believed her because, like, who would she have to tell? We did not find out until probably like after our daughter was born or like later in my pregnancy that it was her that told his little sister because they worked at the same restaurant. She lied dead in our face. She was fake. I had a feeling it was her because before we found out that it was her who had told, I had a dream about her where she like turned into a snake. I was like, that's so strange because like my dreams never involve animals. Crazy. But all of his sisters had like ingested this rumor that I was pregnant. That kind of made me freak out. Like, damn, like everybody's gonna know that I'm pregnant. His whole family's gonna know that I'm pregnant, and he has 9 siblings. 9. All of them gonna know, and his parents are gonna be the last to find out. And mind you, his parents are like really strict Christians. We did not know how they were gonna react. We thought that they were gonna kick him out of his house. So after that happened, prom was like what? I don't remember how many weeks before graduation. It was probably like 2 weeks before graduation. Fast forward those 2 weeks, my grandpa, his sister, which is like my aunt, and then my mom's cousin and her daughter, which is my cousin, flew in from Cali, Oregon, and Georgia to see me graduate. My cousin, she already knew that I was pregnant. I already told her. Like, I've been told her because we went on vacation to Cancun a few months earlier, like at the end of March. My aunt and my grandpa and, all them obviously didn't know. So the day that they got into Maryland from their flight was the day before my graduation ceremony. I had just gotten home from work, which I worked at Dunkin'. So I was wearing a white polo. And mind you, I told you that my belly looked a little bloaty, but I wouldn't say that I looked pregnant. I would say that I looked fat, like I was gaining weight or something, or that I looked bloated. But I feel like that's not unusual because I would always be scarfing food down at work. I don't think that was unusual. I get home from work and my mom is like my aunt and my cousin are sitting there in our kitchen. I'm in the kitchen putting something in the microwave, like after work, like I'm eating, I usually eat after work because I bring home food with me. And my mom is like, what's wrong with your stomach? I was like, what? She's like, why does your stomach look like that? And I don't remember if she asked me if I was pregnant, but I was just like, what are you talking about? Like no, like she started to suspect it, bro. My aunt and my cousin, they were staying in a hotel. The only person that was staying with us was my grandpa. When they left for their hotel, my mom was like, you are pregnant. And I was like, I'm just fat. It was like, you need to go to the store and buy a pregnancy test and take it. I was like, what? And she was like, I noticed that you haven't gotten your period. I was like, what? Who notices this? Like, you be checking the trash cans? She made me drive to CVS. She made me pay for it. So I got the cheapest test I could find. It was like $5. I was hoping that it was so cheap that it wouldn't work. This time I'm like, what? I'm almost 3 months pregnant. She tells me to leave it in her bathroom because she has a bathroom that connects to her bedroom. As soon as I pee on the stick, 2 lines pop up. It did not even take like 0.5 seconds. I was panicking. I was through. I knew I was through. I knew she was gonna see it and she was gonna be like, what the literal? She texts me because, you know, I have 2 younger siblings that live in the house. She texts me and she's like, Sebana, the test is pregnant. Meet me outside so we can talk. I had never been more scared in my life. I thought she was gonna beat me up in the street. I had a backpack next to my bed. I shoved some of that money in my backpack. I shoved some clothes in there, my charger in there, just in case, like, when we were done having this talk, I was gonna have to dip. We walk outside. We get up the street a little bit, you know, like not too close to my house. We get there, my mom starts screaming at me, just going off on me, telling me how a bunch of stuff. I don't even want to get into that, but basically she thinks that I shouldn't have a kid. I'm not ready to have a kid. My man's gonna leave me. We're not gonna last. I want to have an easy life. Didn't I see how she struggled because she had my sister when she was 16? And I was listening to everything that she had to say. I still remember most of the details that she said to me that day. But honestly, she has a right to be mad. I'm just glad she didn't whoop me in the street.
Because I thought we was going to fight.
I'm being so dead serious. I thought we were going to fight. I took everything into consideration, what she said. Like, at the end of the day, I knew it was my body, my choice. And it's my life, my choice. After we had that talk, she kind of like, her immediate reaction was kind of like, you can't live in my house. Like, you have to go. I kind of expected it. Did I have an immediate backup plan of where I wanted to go? I sure as hell didn't. So I was immediately thinking of places where I could go because my boyfriend's parents still didn't know. And my mom asked, does your boyfriend's parents know? Or she didn't say boyfriend, but I was like, I said no. And she was like, well, I'm going to pull up to his house and I'm going to tell them. And I was like, what kind of person? When I get home, I text him, like, you need to tell your parents that I'm pregnant because if you don't, my mom's going to. He immediately, like, that day when he got home from work, he sat his parents down and he told them. And they took it way better than my mom did. So after that, I went home and I was looking for places to stay. I was looking for cheap apartments. I knew nothing about renting apartments at the time. After a while, like, we came to census with my plan, which was I'm gonna stay living in her house until August when it's time to go to college. I'm gonna live in the dorm for 1 semester. And then after that, hopefully, I'll find an apartment, a place to live that I can live with my daughter. Why? Because my school does not have family housing. I already checked. And obviously, you can't have kids in the dorm. So I go to college, pregnant. A lot of people's, like, can't really tell until I'm, like, getting there. Like, I'm about to pop. My stomach's big. Because I wore hoodies. I wore giant hoodies the entire time that I went to college. Until basically you could tell through my hoodies, and then you could tell, you know. The semester ended like a few days after my due date. So I took all my finals early. I ended the semester up early, and I gave birth to my daughter on December 18th, 2022. This day, like, everyone pretty much has a good relationship with my daughter and with me. My daughter's turning 2 this December. I feel like everything turned out the best that it could. I love my daughter so much. She has taught me so much. She's so smart. You know, she's very healthy. I'm still in school. I never took a break from school. I'm set to graduate in spring 26, which is exactly on time. Plus, you know, I have an internship that almost basically guarantees me a job after I graduate. You know, I'm majoring in computer science, so I just know that if I keep putting in hard work, I'm gonna get my degree. Everything has turned out for the better, you know. We did end up getting an apartment together, me and my man, and we don't live in the same apartment anymore. We live in our second apartment together. But yeah, we still live together. Me and my man are still together, you know, like, we're a family still. We're both reaching out for our dreams, and we're both being good role models for our children. So I think that everything turned out for the better. Like, God always has a plan. And I definitely think that even though, like, my story is not over, like, this was definitely God's plan for me, and I can't wait to see what more the future has in store. All your dreams can come true. You can still accomplish what you want to accomplish as a teen parent. Like, no, I am not promoting teen pregnancy at all. But if you find yourself in a difficult situation, just know that you can still accomplish what you set your heart out to if you want it bad enough. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story time. Hopefully you guys got to know me a little bit better through this story, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So comment down below if you guys have any questions or any future content that you'd like to see, and yeah, don't forget to leave a like on this video. I will talk to you guys. Thanks for watching.
Toca lo mío, yo me pongo criminal, no nazi, criminal y de